to all the students out there, sign up for coding. To all the teachers, thank you for responding to the need of the students and doing such an incredible job for our schools.
On today's show, Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson shares the highlights of his computer science Our Kids Can Code state tour. Stay tuned. EduTech Guys Radio, radio.edutechguys.com.
The opinions expressed under the site and its programs are those of participants and not intended to and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of any specific educational entity, sponsor, company, state, or government agency.
Hello and welcome to EduTech Guys Radio, brought to you by Southwest Arkansas Education Cooperative and Hope Public Schools, both located in Hope, Arkansas. Good afternoon to you. I'm one of your hosts, David Henderson.
Hey, and I'm Jeff Madlock.
How is it going out there, folks? Thanks for tuning in today to radio.edutechguys.com. We will be following what's going on Twitter. You can reach out to us at EduTechGuys. You can also jump over to edutechguys.com, and on the front page there's a contact form. You can fill out that information if you want to reach out to us and drop us a line by all means. Also, facebook.com/edutechguys, Instagram, all the stuff. All the stuff that is the stuff. Look up EduTech Guys. That's us.
Yay!
There it is.
We're a little jazzed today, as you can tell by the intro. A new intro format there for you. I hope you like that new intro format. It was kind of different. Wanted to give you a little, teaser of what's coming in the show.
Absolutely, and today's a good one for it.
Yeah, we were pretty hyped. For us, that's a big deal.
It's huge
to get to sit down with the governor of Arkansas, even if it was for 10 minutes. He made time. Spring Hill School District, we want to thank them tons. They made a place for us, and the governor came in with his folks and was personable and wonderful, and we had a great little talk real quick, and then he went and did his big show for the kids about computer science and Our Kids Can Code.
Yeah, absolutely. And then got to go spend some time at the Makerspace classroom that they have there in Spring Hill. And my understanding is that once he got in the classroom, then that's when the students really just kind of opened up, started asking questions and talking to him about coding and computer science. And so things evidently took off once he got in that, I guess once he was in their space. And then they, they felt comfortable enough to open up and just kind of sit down and talk to them. So pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful day. And it's been a wonderful, I guess, middle of the second week of school in Arkansas.
Yeah, man. Hey, it finally stopped raining here, and so the sun came out. Now it came out with a vengeance, so it's pretty toasty in these parts of the country here.
Just a bit muggy.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we promised. No bad British accent.
I promised. He did not promise.
The good doc is driving this way now to pummel us with the hammer of Thor.
That's right. He and Mark Arbery, they're anti-accents. Not anti-accents, but anti-us imitating accents poorly. I think that's what that amounts to.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So yeah, in just a little bit, we are going to play you the interview that we had with the governor. We've also got music this hour from Nick C. and Nick Flora, and we've also got a quick interview that we did with Angie Rainey, who is the superintendent of Spring Hill Schools. So lots of good stuff coming up. Of course, we've got the Google Tip of the Week coming up later in the show as well. If you want to follow along on Twitter, you can actually follow hashtag ETGChat, and we'll be monitoring that. So feel free to send us any questions and that type of thing. And there's also, if you jump out to radio.edutechguys.com and sign up for a Mixlr account, you can join the live chat, and we've got folks monitoring that. And so there you go.
Yeah. When we come back, we're going to drop out to a quick ETG commercial. We're changing up the format here, trying to get a few things in the system that we like, and see how you like it. If it makes everything work a little easier, work a little better for us, then that's even better, right? So,
absolutely.
Yeah. And then when we get back, we're going to talk about Our Kids Can Code. and we're going to discuss the new computer science standards a little bit and get into the interview with the governor.
Sweet.
So, hey, stay tuned. We'll be right back after this quick infomercial.
Did you know the EduTech Guys provide professional development and training to your teachers and students? We offer workshops in podcasting for the classroom, Google Apps for education, Google Classroom, social media outreach for schools, and much more. We also provide live online coverage for your conference or event. We'll sit down with presenters, attendees, selected vendors, and your key conference personnel live during the conference or event to provide man-on-the-street interviews and insights each day. Want to know more? Reach out to us on Twitter at EduTechGuys. Head over to edutechguys.com and fill out the contact form on the front page. Or you can call us at 870-729-1414. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.
Hey, welcome back. Yeah, that's one of our new infomercials. You can always catch us on the web, www.edutechguys.com. We love to come out to the conferences and do all that good stuff. We love talking with educators about technology, especially when they're in the mood to talk about it when they're at a conference.
Yes,
it's always a lot of fun.
Yeah, or come to your school and do professional development.
Yeah,
I mean that's we've done several of those, and that's been great. Hang out with folks, and especially we can do long format, short format. We prefer the long format because then folks can actually get their hands on it and do a little recording and play around with podcasting or get their hands dirty in Google Classroom or that type of thing. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff.
So we're going to get into the stuff that we got to talk with the governor about, which is the Our Kids hashtag ARKIDSCANCODE.
Yes.
Our Kids Can Code.
That's a mouthful to spell out, man.
For a long time I said ARC Kids, but it's Our Kids Can Code.
Right.
And the new computer science standards that the state has adopted.
Yeah.
And some new accelerators that the governor is working with for the business end of it. Because that's our whole gig in education, is to turn out viable people with a great background in education so they can get a good job, stay in Arkansas, and help the economy here. Now, Our Kids Can Code is a great thing. Coding that's where it's at right now. Let's all code. And we won't get too in depth about it, but the cool thing about coding is it teaches procedure.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, we use that in everything. Consistency and procedure. When we talked about consistency last week,
yeah,
but that's
absolutely
one of our theme words, I guess, for the year: consistency. But that's the thing about coding, and the Arkansas computer standards, the new computer science standards, help us start to move in that direction.
Well, and I think tying the two together, it's really funny. When I walked in the door first thing this morning, I met one of our other employees here at the Education Service Center, and she was telling me that she was talking to her son and he didn't want to do some activity, whatever it was. And she said, okay, well then you're going to take piano lessons instead of, if you're not going to participate in this other activity, you're going to take piano lessons. And they got to talking about piano lessons and coding and writing music and coding. And he told her, he said, Mom, they're totally different because coding is, ones and zeros and music is A, B, C, D, E. And she said, well, yes, but just like in coding, there's a certain order and a certain procedure, just like when you're composing music or writing music or playing music, there's a certain order, certain procedure, and absolutely. And now this is I'm gonna flip on the Wayback Machine here for just a second, but way back in the day when I had a Commodore 64 and it was the latest, greatest thing, we would type code, we would type programs in from magazines that we would get. Stay with me. All right. One of those was called the Mozart Machine. And no lie, what this did was it was a program that would use data, and it would not quite randomly, but in a particular format, it would pull that data to play certain notes, and it would play exactly in the style of Mozart. How could you do that with a computer? Because you could mathematically come up with how Mozart composed his stuff and plug that into the computer, and then the computer would generate these brand new pieces that sounded as if they'd been composed by Mozart. It was crazy.
That is pretty crazy.
And
pretty
now
cool
we
too.
are all the way fast forward to 2016, and that's the kind of stuff we're having kids do.
Welcome to the jungle.
Welcome to the jungle. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, So yeah, today we had the opportunity to travel to Spring Hill, Arkansas. The governor's on tour around the state over the next few weeks,
Yes.
promoting computer science and Our Kids Can Code.
Yes.
And we reached out, and they reached back, and the next thing we know, we've got an interview with the governor. So we're going to take a little break here, and we're going to play that interview for you, so you can hear what happened today with Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson.
You're listening to radio.edutechguys.com, and we are very, very honored to have with us today Governor of Arkansas, Asa Hutchinson. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, David. Delighted to be here in Spring Hill and talking about technology, schools, and coding, and all the things it brings to the state.
Absolutely. So speaking of coming to Spring Hill, where'd you come up with the idea to come and tour the state and encourage students to sign up for the computer science class?
Well, the reason I go to the high schools, and this is really my second year to tour our high schools and encourage computer coding, is because while we have mandated computer coding to be offered to every school, we're not mandating students to take it.
Sure.
And so it's still a choice for them. A lot of the students don't understand it, don't know about it. They need to be exposed to it. Sometimes the principals and superintendents are really not on top of it either. And so I go out to the schools and I promote it and I create the demand. I help create the demand of the students for computer coding technology or classes. And once the students say, yes, that's what I want to do, all of a sudden you have teachers and administrators responding to it and say, we will meet the needs of the students.
Sure, absolutely.
And nothing makes that statement like the governor telling you to make sure you should take this class.
Well, it's humbling, but it does make a difference. And I was in Manila up in northeast Arkansas yesterday, and I had met a year ago a French teacher. And she didn't know anything about computer science or technology, but because the governor said it was important, she took computer science, coding, and now she's a French teacher that learned another language, and that's the language of the computer coding, and she's teaching it, doing a great job. So that's exciting to me.
That's awesome. That
Integrated into
cool.
every class. So your plan is to cultivate tech talent in the state. How do you see the influence of the public school computer science and coding standards bolstering your plan?
A couple ways. First of all, whenever the public schools are engaged in computer science education, all of a sudden our 2-year and 4-year colleges are coming to me and saying, hey, you need to be aware that we're starting a coding academy.
Yes.
You need to be aware that we're elevating our computer science program to be ready for all of these high school graduates that want to have a degree in computer science. And so it helps us all the way up the chain in education to improve our technology, our STEM education. Secondly, and this is really something I didn't even dream of this quickly, but technology companies that are starting up in Arkansas, they're saying maybe we don't have to relocate to Austin or to Silicon Valley. Maybe we can stay here because there's this talent pool that's coming forth. And so it's had a great dynamic. And so it helps us both, the public schools take the lead, the 2- and 4-year colleges respond to it, and technology companies are starting to really see Arkansas as a home for their growth.
And we're seeing that at Conway, Jonesboro, Fayetteville. We're seeing they're in rankings of startup cities. They're starting to make that list, and we're starting to see that really blow up around the nation, and for Arkansas.
Absolutely. In fact, last week in North Little Rock, we had a company that announced another 50 jobs, and they relocated from Boston.
Wow,
so we got a technology company from Boston that moved to Arkansas because we have the talent. We've got the innovation hubs that will support this talent. I want to be able to expand it beyond just central Arkansas, but I think the next phase is, you'll see it in different parts of the state. You'll have entrepreneurs that come up and be able to have success.
Well, and it's funny that you mention that because we used to be a threesome here on EduTechGuys Radio, and one of the guys that used to work with Jeff, he left to go work for a tech company in Little Rock. So that falls right in line with everything you're talking about.
More pay. It's wonderful. We're moving our kids. He was a graduate of the University of Arkansas Community College at Hope and moved on to the next level. So we're seeing it happen.
Well, and it'll be a constant challenge for us that, whenever we have teachers that know coding, they're going to be recruited by industry as well. And so
Sure.
thankful for teachers that understand the importance of the classroom, that will stay there. But they make the difference every day.
Yeah, absolutely. So along the same lines, and you've already mentioned some of the high-tech companies that are coming in and relocating to the state. At the beginning of August, you announced the first phase of a high-tech accelerator initiative for the state of Arkansas. So can you tell us about the FinTech Accelerator Program?
Well, FinTech is the financial services software development initiative that was really fully funded by FIS, which is a financial services company in Little Rock. And they did it because they wanted to make sure they were on the cutting edge of new software applications in the financial services industry. And so I was there whenever you had the final presentation by, I think it was 8 startup companies.
Wow.
That talent from all over the globe came here to Little Rock, Arkansas to showcase and help develop their new technology in the financial services industry. If we can just get 1 or 2 of those companies to locate here and say we'll build our future here, then it pays for it, and I think that's going to happen.
Sure.
And so I want to take that accelerator program and to have it in a more industries, whether it's agricultural, medical sciences, the state partner with industry, and that will help create the next wave of technology companies here in Arkansas.
Yeah, that is phenomenal. That's awesome.
That's a big deal to us. Between us, we have about 40 years in educational technology, I guess, in Arkansas. So it's really exciting for us to see our kids. That I was a band director for 12 years also, so it's exciting to see my kids in Boston, in Chicago, in Bentonville, working for Walmart, doing SQL databasing, and knowing that we're moving into a whole new phase where Little Rock's going to be full of buildings with a startup on every floor. We're going to see that happen because with something like Our Kids Can Code and the push for STEM, I think your initiative is going to really move us into a whole new generation in Arkansas.
It will, but let me add 2 things to that. First of all, this is something, if we have high-speed internet in Spring Hill or in Hope or in Texarkana, people like to live in their communities. They can live there, and
Sure.
they can do coding for any company in the world.
Right.
And so this is an opportunity all across Arkansas. And secondly, we had our Arkansas School of Math and Science that has done a great job. In fact, they've helped mentor some teachers here in Spring Hill. But we graduate some of the best coders out of that academy.
Yeah.
But you find them going to New York.
Mm-hmm.
You find them going to Silicon Valley and doing great things. We've got to not only create the talent, but the companies that will hire those and make their technology future in this state. So that's my goal.
Absolutely. Man, that is awesome. I want to tell you, it has been our pleasure to talk with you, and it's very exciting to have a state leader who's actively concerned and involved with the future of technology, especially tying it in to education in the state. I want to extend a very special thank you to you. Also to your office staff who worked amazing miracles to make this happen on such short notice, and appreciate the work that you guys do on behalf of our state.
So this is your tour. You're the man
That's
of the
true.
hour.
You're right.
Is there anything else you want to add before we sign off?
To all the students out there, sign up for coding. To all the teachers, thank you for responding to the need of the students and doing such an incredible job for our schools.
Well, again, thank you very much for being on the show.
Great to be with you.
Stay tuned for more EduTech Guys coming up, but first we've got music from one of our favorite featured artists of the week, Nick C. www.niksea.com. We'll be right back.
When you find you're just a man, afraid of his past, and you've learned it all before, but the lessons didn't last.
listening to EduTech Guys, coming to you live from the Southwest Arkansas Education Cooperative in Hope, Arkansas. We'll be right back with some more from the Spring Hill tour of the Governor's Computer Science Initiative. Be right back.
How long will you stay with me? 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 How long will you stay with me?
All right, there is music from Nick C. and How Long here on EduTech Guys Radio. Thank you guys very much for listening. While we were in Spring Hill, not only did we get a chance to talk with the governor, we also had a chance to take a moment and talk to the superintendent of schools down at Spring Hill, Ms. Angie Rainey, and she told us about what was going on with computer science standards. We're here with Spring Hill Superintendent Angie Rainey. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Tell us a little bit about computer science standards and what you guys are doing with coding and computer science in your school.
Sure, we are very excited to be able to offer a couple new classes, Essentials of Computer Science. We started that last year with just 6 kids. This year we've got an enrollment of almost 50 students enrolled.
Wow.
So, and we have available 3 different classes or 3 sections. We have an AP computer science class this year. And so we're really trying to generate interest and get kids excited about computer science. Through the governor's initiative, we were able to receive a $20,000 grant last year, which really got us started by some technology. We hosted a after-school coding program for elementary.
Cool.
And so, again, it's all about piquing the interest. And I'll just have to be honest, it's just something I really didn't know a lot about until the push, which I'm very fortunate that the governor has brought this to all of our attention, because there's been so many, I think, missed opportunities for people in Arkansas because we just were not employable in computer science, which is the whole point of his initiative and everything. So we have a wonderful teacher, Miss Glass, who just got on board. She wrote the grant, and then that was just the beginning point for her. So she's been able to secure several other grants that has been able to expand the program.
Yeah.
We have a brand new makerspace classroom this year, and I think that what helped get a lot of the students involved and interested in computer science. It's a really bright, fun classroom.
Sure.
Who would not want to be in there, right?
Exactly.
And so I'm just excited for the opportunity for our kids to learn more about this area, and then just the employability skills they're going to gain, you know, in future endeavors, and hopefully have a very successful career.
You know, you guys have always been on the cutting edge of that, because, you know, Tammy, you guys were doing it before the governor said that. You really
That's
were.
right.
And so, you know, this is the perfect school district to do that, because you guys have already been thinking about this. Tammy's had it on her brain, and now, but here we go. It's an initiative that the state's pushing.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm just glad to be a part of it and be able to support something like this for our kids.
We're excited about it too.
Yeah,
Really
very
excited.
cool.
It's gonna mean a lot to your school district.
Yes, thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much for stopping by.
Sure.
All right, we want to thank Angie Rainey very much, and appreciate you guys out there listening. Again, if you got any comments, questions, problems, suggestions, horror stories, feel free to reach out to us, #ETGchat, and we'll be happy to respond with those.
Yes,
and or
no horror stories.
Okay, no horror stories.
I barely sleep at night as it is.
Again, you can also jump out to radio.edutechguys.com and jump into the chat. And I type when I'm chatting much better than I'm currently speaking.
Is that true? I don't know about that sometimes. Hey, yeah, listen, some great stuff coming up for us, and we want to give a big shout out to some things that are happening this year.
Yeah.
We're going to be at the Arkansas Conference of Technology in October. That's October 19th through 21st, and that's in North Little Rock, Arkansas, at the Wyndham.
Yeah.
That's a new conference that was just started last year by Daryl Parks from Hoxie. And that one right there has been a real favorite of technology coordinators and technology directors in public school in the state.
Well, and what's really cool about that particular conference is that, yes, there are vendors. I mean, you got to have vendors coming in to help pay for things, but instead of kind of a lot of times when you go to conferences and you go to a vendor breakout session, it's all about the vendor. It's all about what they're selling, blah, blah, blah. With the Arkansas Conference of Technology, the vendors are only allowed about 10 minutes of commercial time. And then the rest of the time for the breakout sessions has to be educational. It's got to be teaching the folks that are at the conference something, whether it's something about using the tool that particular vendor is selling, or some other educational piece that ties into what that vendor is doing. It still has to, the main focus of each breakout session is all about educating the participants. And I think that is phenomenal. That is such a different way to approach a technology conference.
I agree 110%. Hey, listen, also, we're going to be possibly, are we going to be at Schools Without Walls this year? We have to give Don Benton a holler on that one anyway, right?
You know what? We're going to. We'll reach out to Don, who may be listening now. He may not be, but anyway, Don, can we come back?
Hey, guess what? On the chat, John just said, "Hey, you guys are invited to S-File." So, hey, I like how we strong-armed our way into S-File using the show to do it.
There you go. Woo-hoo. You got to do what we got to do. All right, so that is in November. So we will be at the Schools Without Walls conference, as we call it, SWOW. So we'll be there providing live coverage. Again, this year. We were there last year.
Yes, we were. So, and this is the 6th annual School Without Walls.
Oh, that is awesome.
And I'm pretty sure it is at the Hot Springs Convention Center.
Yeah.
As it
has been.
Year.
Sure.
Wonderful place. Always great folks. Always great keynotes. And it's another hands-on, really fun tech education event. So you don't want to miss that one for sure. Makes us really, really, really happy. Next up is AESA.
Yeah, AESA. We are going to be in Savannah, Georgia. AESA stands for the Association for Education Service Agencies, and that is the national conference for organizations like Southwest Arkansas Education Cooperative, other cooperatives, other education service agencies from all around the nation and actually from other countries all come into this national conference. That'll be in Savannah, Georgia, and we'll be there November 30th through December 3rd, providing live coverage. And then...
Hey, big one. Right after Christmas, a big Christmas present to the EduTech guys. The FETSI, the Florida Educational Technology Conference.
Which it has a new name.
It has a new name, but that's what we're going to call it anyway.
That's what we know it as.
One of the largest in the country and in the world.
Yes.
That's January the 24th through the 27th in Orlando, Florida at the Orlando Convention Center.
Yes. Yeah, I can't remember which wing, but yeah.
Yeah, the Orange County Convention Center, the big one.
It's a big one, but they do it in
parts
one.
of it. Yeah, we're not in the whole thing.
It's really, really big.
We have one whole section to ourselves, about 80,000 square feet, just EduTech guys. We do the whole. We're gonna drive cars in that thing.
We eat a lot.
Yeah. So there it is, right there. Arkansas Conference of Technology coming up in October. SWOW, Schools Without Walls, at the Hot Springs Convention Center, November 6th through 7th. AESA, November 30th through December 3rd in Savannah, Georgia, and FETSI, the Florida Educational Technology Conference, January 24th through the 27th in Orlando, Florida. That's where you can catch the EduTech guys. Now, our schedule is constantly changing, as it did today when we got the call yesterday and said, "Hey, Governor wants to be on your show." And we were like, yeah. So I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take another quick break so David and I can grab this last bit of stuff. We have a great Google Tip of the Week coming up for you once we get right back. So, hey, stay tuned. This is one of our other, we love the Knicks here. And so this is one of our favorite friends, good friend, and a good guy, and a great songwriter, Nick Flora with Hard Man to Love.
Backing it up. I've got a mind that's defined by being right all the time, and I love it.
Nick Flora.
Woo, man.
That's a great chart.
That's
I
awesome.
hope everybody liked it. It's a new tune. We thought we'd throw it out there today.
Oh.
That's Nick Flora. You can catch him on iTunes. You can find him at nickflora.com. Also find him on Twitter, twitter.com/Nick Flora, NickFlora. Hey, guess what time it is?
Is it that time already?
It's time, David. What time is it?
Google tip of the week.
You know, I wonder if anybody has made that a ringtone yet.
I'm going to go with no. Probably not.
Doggone it. You would hope that would happen.
You would hope.
So here's what's great. I've got a great one for you. This is our Google tip of the week this week. So I don't know if you're using Google Forms or you use Google Sheets or you're GAF school. You should be. Even if it's just partly GAF school. If you're not using that.
Is that the tip?
That's
You
the
should be
tip. No, that's not the
you
tip
should
yet.
be GAF.
But you know, Google Apps for Education is it's free, you know, and
Yep.
you should use parts of it. You know, if you're using Chromebooks, if you're using Macs, if you're using Windows, what the heck you're using, great platform. So I was asked to create a teacher lesson plan and that was easy for our teachers to do. So I did it in Google Form.
Okay.
Okay. So
All right.
now you can have the data from that output into a spreadsheet,
Sure.
into a Google Sheet.
Sure.
Well, you know, it's really interesting how that plays out. You want it to do a certain thing. So then they said, well, great, can you do observations the same way? I said, sure, we'll do an observation sheet. Well, now you're going to get to an interesting thing. So you say you have an observation sheet that lets you choose the teacher and then lets you fill in the information. Now, this is for the people doing the observation.
Okay, sure.
So, you know, you want your principals and your instructional facilitators and your curriculum development people to be able to see that, you know, your observations for your teachers so you can help those teachers. But the thing is, you also want to share that with teachers, but you don't want them to see everybody else's. Well, this
Right.
is where some really great stuff comes in
Okay.
with query functions inside Google Sheets.
All right.
So you can do some amazing things there. So with these query functions, and we're going to share out the YouTube link here any moment now. I'm going to guess the good doc has probably already done that. So what's really great is you can take these Google queries, and we're not going to go into them in depth because it would just get you all confused if I'm reading Google queries to you on the radio. But you need to watch this video. He uses Star Wars example, so automatically us nerds, the two nerds I'm talking about in this room right now, the
Yes.
two nerds in this room automatically we're hooked because we've got some Star Wars going on, right? So these queries can do amazing things, like they can find a teacher's name, and you can export using keywords from that spreadsheet out to a spreadsheet just for the teacher. You can pivot tables, you can pivot columns, you can pivot rows. You can look for specific words using greater than and less than as other columns. You can have multiple filter queries inside these sheets that reference other Google Sheets throughout your system.
That is awesome.
Well, what's really neat is Google's going to release here in the next month or two the ability to create those query functions inside the sheets that are already, that you're already working on. So if
Right.
you already have one workbook and you add multiple sheets, well, those queries already exist. But how would you like to be able to go down to the bottom and select a sheet and only share it to a specific person inside the workbook?
See, that's actually very, very
And
cool.
that's where it's going to come to. So now you can build these massive query filters, query functions for filtering to get a lot done inside spreadsheets to keep your data right there in GAF.
That is very, very
Which
cool.
takes the use of Google Forms to like a whole nother level.
Well, yeah. Right now, we've got several Google Sheets that we use here at the Education Service Center, and I only certain folks have permission to certain tabs. And I will tell you, it is a pain in the rear right now to set up those permissions because of the way permissions work. So if what you're saying is going to happen here, that's going to make life so much easier when it comes to sharing specific tabs within a particular workbook, because now you almost have to take away the permissions from the people who aren't supposed to have it. Now it sounds like you'll be able to just basically right click and say, these people can have it and nobody else does.
That's exactly right.
That is awesome.
So, that's our Google tip of the week for this week. And
That is phenomenal.
It's in my brain to make my own video and my own blog about what this gentleman has done. So you'll
Very
be able
cool.
to check it out. If you just want to look it up without waiting for it to be tweeted out by us, it's called Query Function Examples in Google Spreadsheets. The creator is Cameron Crest, and that's on YouTube. That you can hit his channel. It's a great watch. It's 15 minutes and 30 seconds. The good stuff gets in there about 7 minutes.
Yeah, the good doc just tweeted that out,
Oh,
shared it out.
thanks.
So there you go.
David,
I'm trying to. I know
our sign language
our
is not
hand
very-
signals are not working. just like I don't know what you're telling me.
So yeah, check out the Twitter, and you'll find that link to that on Twitter.
Yeah,
Highly
and
recommend it.
along the lines of checking out YouTube stuff. Now we've just started this, and I mean that almost literally. We are going to start posting our shows on YouTube, and the advantage that we have there is that in the description, we will be able to reference certain key points within any particular episode. And so you'll be able to, for example, you'll be able to click on the time link that will automatically jump you to the interview with Governor Asa Hutchinson. Or if you want to jump to the interview with Angie Rainey, we will be able to have that in the description of our YouTube video. So that's a brand new thing. We're just starting out. We only have one out there right now because we're playing with it, checking it out. So if you guys out there listening would check that out, and again, that's going to be youtube.com/EduTechGuys. But if you would check that out and feel free to leave any comments, suggestions, feedback about that, we would definitely appreciate it because it is a brand new thing that we're starting and we're hoping it really takes off.
Yeah, and once we get a new light bulb in our editing room for the audio, we'll do the same with our audio. That's on iTunes and our RSS feed. That's a
Yes.
mouthful. And you'll be able to pull up the table of contents and jump to sections inside a podcast player if you're using, say, Apple iTunes to listen to us and all that good stuff.
That's what, yeah. So it's only taken us a little over a year, and we're starting to get the hang of how this works.
Yeah, it's it's amazing. You would be surprised the amount of work that goes into dropping out a show a week and doing the conferences that we do. And so yeah, hey. Great show.
This was awesome, and again, we can't say it enough. We thank the governor's office. We thank Governor Hutchinson. We thank the superintendent at Spring Hill Schools, Angie Rainey, for all of their support and for letting us come and talk to them and for talking to us about what's going on with coding in Arkansas, the state computer science standards.
Bingo.
Blah. And all the other good stuff that we talked about. We definitely appreciate the opportunity for that.
And a big shout out to the good doc for always having our back on the social media.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Hey, I'm Jeff Madlock.
I'm David Henderson.
And you know what you're listening to? You're listening to the end of the EduTechGuys podcast. Talk to you later. Bye.
You've been listening to EduTechGuys Radio, radio.edutechguys.com.
The opinions expressed under the site and its programs are those of participants and not intended to and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of any specific educational entity, sponsor, company, state, or government agency.